So guys, is the new XT3 worth the upgrade from the trusty XT2? We're going to unbox it and have a look at this bad boy, so let's check it out. So, finally arrived, the new XT3 from Fuji. So I've had the XT2 for 18 months, absolutely cracking camera. And as I said earlier, I wondered whether it was worth the upgrade from the XT2 to the XT3. So let's unbox it and have a look. So as always with Fuji products, always come very nicely packaged in their box. In the top there we've got warranty stuff, and then we've got the main XT3 manual, owner's manual, all the countries, gives you basically everything that you need to know to get going on this camera setup, movies, etc. So I need to have a little look at that, see what the differences are. Inside the box we have the new XT3. It's available in two colours. The XT2 I have is all black. This time I've gone for the black and silver, which I think looks really, really smart. And first impressions, really like it. The build quality feels absolutely solid. So even though they say that it's made in China now rather than Japan, the quality feels the same, if not better, I'd say. On the functionality changes, I can see straight off slightly slimmer dials on the top there, it's a bit more ergonomic, and also the pop-out optics with the screen where you can actually lock it, because that's always a problem with the old one where you'd be out shooting and then you'd turn this and then the inside of the viewfinder would, in the screen, would be a little bit off, so at least now you can lock it, which is great. The screen, no change from the XT2, articulates that way and also that way. It's a shame they don't put a flip out screen like the new EOS R, but I'm sure that will come. Otherwise, first impressions, maybe these are a little bit stiffer than on the XT2, but otherwise, yeah, great form function on them. So let's see what else we've got in here. So accessory box in the bottom. So inside of here we have the Fuji carrying strap, which is not bad. I've used it on the XT2 for the last 18 months and it's been absolutely fine. It comes with little metal connectors and I guess leather or certainly plastic straps that clip onto the edges here, and been no issue too. So going to look at the Peak Design do a strap which gives a bit more versatility, so that's something I want to get hold of at some point. Inside, this is the change. On the XT2 the charger came with a long lead which then plugs directly into a similar size box to this, to be honest, but see this year they've gone for a more compact version that just literally clips on like so and then goes into the wall, and then the battery, I'll show you in a second, just clips into that. Also in the box we have the small flash, which small plastic cover removes some there and that just slots in. Not really used it very much, to be honest. Then the cover can just pop back onto that, and then what else have we got in here? Just the battery. So one Fuji battery supplied with it. Again, if you're not familiar with Fuji, that comes onto the bottom. Quick release door. You line up the orange tab with the button, drops in and closed. The battery, I believe, is supposed to be about 10 or 50% better than the XT2, but you can buy aftermarket batteries which are quite cheap. The other cover on the bottom here is a little rubber release, and that just gives the connectors if you're using the extra grip for the bottom. bottom, which I do have for the XT3, so I'll show you that in a little bit. So that's that. So that's the unboxing of the XT3. So first impressions, really impressed with it. I love the silver and the black colour on there, and as I say, the battery charger, if I just pop that out, it's a little clip, quick remove, plug in the wall, and then it just drops in like so. It's very simple to use on there. And if you're looking to purchase the additional battery grip for the XT3, it differs slightly from the XT2 version on there, but at the moment they're doing quite a good deal where you can actually save £100 if you buy it with the camera itself. Adds a little bit of weight, but obviously gives you a bit more holding. I've got quite big hands, and I find the camera to be absolutely fine. It's fairly light like this, so this does has a bit of extra bulk on it. So if you're installing it onto the camera itself, the little rubber comes off that just little cubby hole there to store it in, and then as you can see the connectors on there go together, and then the little wire, the wheel, sorry, just screws together. That's as simple as that. So there you have a lot more ease of holding the camera. It has a little bit of weight obviously. In this side comes with a charging port on here, so you can plug it directly into the wall, which I believe charges the camera battery. And inside of here, a small turn of that releases a tray, which I've got X Pro batteries in there, which is what I use as I've got 3 of those in a charger to back up batteries. Fuji ones are supposed to last a little bit longer than these, but for the price point of view, you can buy 10 a penny of these for the same price as the Fuji batteries. And again, so that just slides back in there and locks. The rest of it on the back here, obviously the locking wheel that screws it into the base of the camera. You've got normal and boost option on there, so faster frame rates, etc. if you want to put it in, so you get a bit more performance out of the camera in that sense. And then some of these controls are just replicated on this side, so that if you're using the camera in portrait mode, you have your shutter speed or whatever you decide to assign on that wheel, and your locking buttons, and then also the joystick. So it's basically replicating these 3 buttons on this side on there. Also got the shutter button up here, and the lock function, and the quick menu button. Again, if you're using it in portrait mode, you have those buttons available to you for it. Otherwise, in landscape, you've got the grip there. It's really handy to hold actually. So yeah, so there we have it. That's the XT3 with the battery grip as well. So what we're going to do now is we're going to check out some of the new features on this Fuji XT3, see what extra functionality the XT3 has over the XT2, and whether it's worth making that upgrade to this XT3 model. So guys, that's a quick unboxing of the XT3 camera. The reason I made this video is because I was umming and ahhing whether to upgrade to this new XT3, whether the specs were good enough to make that investment into it over the XT2. And what I've used it over the last couple of days, the small improvements have made this camera a lot better, some functionality on it also, which I'll run through. I'm not going to do an in-depth review of the specs on this. There's plenty of other videos and information on the internet where you can dive into that, but I just wanted an overview of why I think this is probably worth the upgrade to you. So on the back of the camera, the rear viewfinder, there hasn't been a massive change to this. There's a very touch capability to it, which gives you the option to change, say, to the new sports mode, or to change various options which you configure on there to it. You can also use it to touch to pick out your focus points as well. I've disabled it. I didn't quite get on with it too much. Compared with the ESR, the touchscreen is not really on the same level Other improvements they've done on it is inside the viewfinder. That's now been improved from 2.36 million dots from the XT2, gone up to 3.69 million dots on this new XT3 camera. I find it quite noticeable on the inside. They say the zoom capability on it is not as good, but when I've zoomed in on pictures, just check the focus, I found it to be quite an improvement over the other cameras of the XT2 camera. On the front we've got a new sensor. It's still APS-C. That's pretty much where Fuji will market this camera at for the foreseeable future, and I don't see any reason for them to change on there. They reckon the sensor's about 1.5 times quicker than the X-Trans 3 on the XT2, but this X-Trans 4 sensor has been improved from 24.3 million pixels up to 26.1 million pixels on this camera, which on the photos I've taken in a short time with it, I think that the picture quality has improved very slightly over the XT2 on there. They also state dynamic range and low lights improved also. I think it's probably going to be quite minimal on there. I certainly haven't noticed a huge or dramatic difference over the XT2 on that. Also improvements on here is the autofocus and the face tracking. With the new processor it's going to be a lot quicker, and they've obviously improved the software inside. I'm not going to run through any tutorials on it. There is a video which I'll put a link in the description below where a chap's going through the various stages of the face and eye detection, tracking someone running towards him. So as I said, I'll put that in the link below on there. The autofocus points have improved, as you can see on there. You've got right across the screen which you can use them. Then they've gone up from 325 to 425 with the new XT3, so a few more points there to work with. Regarding the face detection over the XT2, and the face focus definitely improved over the XT2. This has been filmed on the XT2 as we speak. That's got the 1024 lens on it. Yet to test out the this camera for a video point on there, but certainly from a non-vlogging perspective, it's definitely improved. It's a lot more accurate over the XT2. The other big selling point with this camera was the video capabilities of it. It's quite hard to now find a camera that will match up to the specs of this camera regarding the improvements. It's now gone up to 4K 60 frames a second, and in HD you can get 120 frames per second on there, which for a camera starting in this price bracket, you're not going to find it unless you go up quite considerably on there. So value for money for this camera, you just can't go wrong with it, to be honest. Battery life is improved also. Again, I still need a little bit more testing on here, but they're saying about 10 to 15% improvement on there. If you're adding the battery grip, as was shown earlier, you're getting obviously the 3 batteries on there, which will auto change over. So if you are videoing, you're going to get seamless videoing across that. If a battery decides to die mid filming, the other one will take over. So that's one good thing about using the external battery pack if you decide to get it with this camera. So there's just a few enhancements with this camera. I'm sure there's a few more that I need to delve into and have a look at with it, but certainly from what I've seen so far and been out in the field testing with it, it's definitely worth upgrading from the XT2 to the XT3. If you are moving into Fujifilm for the first time, you can purchase the XT3 for about £1,350 in the UK, and there is the option to buy the 18 to 55 as a kit lens with it. So if you're moving to Fuji for the first time, great lens to get you going on. The other lenses that I use are the 1024 lens, which is great for landscape. It gives you that bigger perspective, and also for vlogging it gives you that slightly wider screen there to get your movements into. So the other one is the 55-200 lens, which has got obviously that extra zoom capability. Being APS-C, you're getting approximately 300mm lens out of that because of the crop sensor on it. Again, if moving Fuji for the first time, what you'll notice with this is a great camera for travelling with. It's light. The other lenses that come with it are small and light also, compared with their full frame brothers and sisters. So if you're out travelling, backpacking for the day, you can quite happily carry this gear with you and get your photographs in without too much of a weight issue on there. The negatives, not many to be honest. I'm really impressed with it, what they've done with it. The other features I'd like to see was an improvement in the battery. At the moment, compared with some of its rivals, the battery performance is not particularly great. So you can buy non-Fuji battery sets off of Amazon, etc., which you can pick up a charger and potentially 2 to 3 batteries for the same price of just one Fuji battery. So that's a massive bonus on there. They do say the quality is not as good, but I certainly haven't noticed that with my shooting so far on it. Other things I mentioned earlier would like to see is the flip screen come around so that you can actually see the screen from when you're vlogging on there, which will be a nice improvement. Otherwise, the camera's a great camera. The quality's getting better all the time, and they bring out firmware updates all the time on this. So even when you're buying the XT3 now, you know that in 6 to 12 months time, the features that Fuji add are going to be enhanced. So you're going to end up with a better camera in 12 months time than you've already invested in with this XT3 camera. So great camera. If you're looking to upgrade the XT2, hopefully this has been a little bit informative for you and swayed you one way or the other whether you want to jump to this new XT3. It gets my vote, as I say. If you like the video, subscribe to it, add any comments below, and like the page. I'm going to do a few more tech reviews coming up shortly on various bits of kit that I've got, so stay tuned for that. So thanks for watching.